This conference will now be recorded.
So yesterday's class, what are we understanding? So we have just seen like what is PEGA, and using PEGA, what are all the things given to the end customer. Okay, fine. So finally we concluded with PEGA we can able to work only on internal applications. Every organization will be having one main website and multiple internal, and with PEGA we'll be developing internal applications from end to end, starting from application creation to the deployment phase. In between reporting part, visualization part, integrating, deployment, everything as a whole PEGA provides. And we still understood like what will be the scope for a PEGA developer and what will be the chances in India as well as in abroad. So maybe if you're having like career gap, okay, so how the chances for you, maybe in India and other things, and something about certifications. So as a whole, we understood like what will be the PEGA scope for you as a developer. Consider I'm a client. Okay, so consider I'm an city client. So today I want certain projects to be developed. So if you're starting a bank, so obviously we should be having some internal applications. One thing related to credit card, maybe one thing related to loans, and the other one related to accounts or cashier portal. Likewise, all these are internal applications, right? So if a client is deciding to develop certain applications with PEGA, day one, what will happen here is this client has to approach PEGA systems team. Okay, PEGA systems team, and they will be getting license. Okay, they will be getting PEGA license. Enterprise edition is what we call. So they will be getting PEGA license. And as we understood, this city person or the city client cannot maintain their development team directly, so they will be giving some vendorship to certain companies, maybe like TCS, Cognizant, likewise. Okay. Now, if you are a developer, join in these companies, in these consultancy companies, maybe TCS or Cognizant. So here, what will happen? So you will be kept on bench maybe for first 15 days or so, and you will be assigned to this client. You will be assigned to this client, meaning you are supposed to do some kind of PEGA development work for the client related things, right? So you are not developing anything for TCS. So you are developing complete product for city client on behalf of TCS. This is what happening. So you will be part of TCS and you will be getting all the requirements from the client. Am I correct? You will be getting all the requirements from your client. So there will be one business analyst maybe from client side, and here business analyst duty is to gather certain requirements from the client. Suppose if I'm the business analyst here, I should talk to my client saying like, so what should be the first application? So if it is credit card application, how many screens we should be maintaining? In screen number one, how the design should be? Maybe after submitting screen number one, what are all the other things should happen? Maybe sending one email or storing details into income tax department, whatever it is. So I'll be getting all the client requirements, and these requirements will be given to the developer, and developer has to work on all these things. Am I correct? Okay. So here business analyst main duty is to gather requirements from the client, and he has to coordinate with the developer so that everything should be completed in time within correct budget. Am I correct? Within correct budget. So you as a developer, on day one you have to give all the estimates. Suppose I am the main head here, where I don't know anything about PEGA. I'm like city head. So I want like credit card to be first developed. So I'll say to my business analyst that I want 10 screens. Screen number one, so and so design. Screen two, other. Screen three. So I'll be giving certain set of requirements, and I will ask my business analyst to get this done in 6 months itself, or maybe 1 year itself. And my budget is something like $100 million. So client will say only two things. So the requirements and the time frame and the budget, maybe these two things. And business analysts, they will be conveying the same to the developer. So saying like these are the requirements. So here as a developer, what you are supposed to do is you are first supposed to analyze each and every requirement. So don't expect that on the day one you will be given task. So you are a PEGA developer joining in some company working for another client. Am I correct? So maybe if you are getting like 50 requirements, So here business analyst, they will be giving you requirement in terms of user stories. User story 1, user story 2, user story 3. The real user, whatever the requirement he want, that will be subdivided in terms of 50 stories or 100 stories, whatever it is. So those user stories might be given for you in terms of Zira IDs, or maybe some kind of tickets, or maybe some kind of as a whole one big document. So if I'm business analyst, I can give you 150-page document mentioning requirement 1 with some screenshots, requirement 2 with some other design. So you as a developer, you have to first analyze all the requirements in whatever the mode you get, that is secondary. First you have to analyze all the requirements, and then you should be providing proper estimates. Estimates in the sense requirement 1, so it may take around 4 hours time for us. Requirement number 2 maybe 16 hours. Requirement 3 maybe 8 hours. So you are supposed to provide estimate for each and every user story in hours format. Getting my point? In terms of hours. So total 50 requirement, if you are giving like 500 hour, just an example, so 500 hour. So this whole estimates, whatever the estimates you are providing, this will be again considered by business analyst. Business analyst, they will not know that technical aspects. So business analyst, what they will say, so they are like coordinating between the developer and a business person. So if as a developer I'm giving estimate like 500 hour for this whole scenario, so business analyst again will go back to the client saying like development team is asking directly for 6 months period for this, or maybe 1 year. So whatever the efforts we provide, the same will be conveyed to the client, end client. So if this is calculated in terms of months, just an example. So if it is turned to 6 months, now client is asking everything to be delivered in how much time? 1 year of time. So if client is saying like 1 year, his expectation is like it should be started and it should be deployed in that 1 year, right? It is not like 1 year only for development. It's not like 1 year only for testing. So his thought is to get this completely used by the real bank employees in 1 year. So within which whole 1 year as a developer will not get. We might be getting maybe 4 months of time, maybe sometimes 5 months of time, or sometimes still more. Okay, so if development team is asking alone for 6 months, and the other phases like testing, UAT, maybe reporting part, and this might take something extra more time, right? So this as a whole might turn to 2 years. So considering development estimates, if I'm the testing manager, I'll say like this whole thing to be tested in 4 months. If I alone ask for 4 months, and maybe the other phase like deployment and other things. So day one, what is happening is we are just gathering, business analyst is just gathering estimates from each and every person or from each and every team. So if considering all these estimates, if it is taking around 2 year time, so business analyst should convey the same to the customer, right, end client. So if end client is very keen in completing it in 1 year, so if I'm the end client, I will strongly say like I want this in 1 year only. So if required, I'll increase my budget. If required, increase the development team size or testing team size or maybe develop deployment, whatever it is. So if he is keen in completing in proper time, so development size might be increased, right? Now 500 hours meaning if four member team is considered for six, if it is like 6 months, if it is like increased to double, it should be completed in half of its time, right? So client will be going for adjusting in terms of time frame as well as in terms of budget. Or if client is saying like I cannot increase any budget, this is the billing what we have for this year, but I want this in 1 year only, let's reduce the requirement count. So instead of 100 requirements, let's complete 50 only for this period. So according to that, on the day one, sprint zero will be happening. Okay, so I'll talk about what is sprint, what is agile in the coming classes also. So day one, first 2 weeks generally will be kind of analysis, this kind of background discussions only happening. Getting my point? Okay, so make sure every requirement, whatever you give estimate, it should be in proper analyzed. Suppose today, if I give first requirement as 4 hours, and this is finalized, and second everything this is finalized, and it went to business analyst convert the same to client, so client is also okay, and let's complete or let's wait, whatever the estimates as a team we give, client is also accepted. So final sprint plan is decided, no extra modifications on that. So once everything is finalized, so actual development work will start, right? Once after analysis, actual work should start now. So requirement one is started, you gave estimated like 4 hours, so you are supposed to complete it in 4 hours, right? Maybe after you starting, if you are saying like, I analyzed this in the wrong way, I did not think that this is that complicated, so it is taking some extra time, I want like 2 days for this. If you say like this kind of uh, points, then again you'll get blame from business analyst, because client will not tolerate all these things, because he has adjusted in terms of time frame as well as in terms of budget. So business analyst, he has to manage both the things. So business analyst will be daily putting you stand up calls, morning half an hour, evening half an hour, what is the status, so why did you give wrong efforts, so it is your headache to complete, please come on Saturdays and Sundays, please overload your team, so which I'll not bother about, where you're not getting extra payment for this. This is what the things happen. So what I'm saying is, as a developer, first you have to take care of what is your requirement and how much time it has to take. Okay, and you have to understand its impact analysis also. What is impact analysis? What is impact analysis? So if I just ask you, so consider this as our screen number one. So where we are collecting like customer email ID. Okay, customer email ID. Now, as a business analyst, I'm giving a requirement saying like, so this email ID should be in the star mark, that is like mandatory, or this email ID should accept only city.com, @city.com, if this is the requirement given for you. So day one, you understood like, or you analyzed like, so in just screen number one, we are having email ID. So you made modifications here itself, but maybe your credit card application is having 50 screens, and this email you are collecting maybe in the 40th as well as 50th screens also, which you are not aware, so you gave estimate considering only one scenario, but you missed the other two places also. Other two places will be impacted because of this, right? So first you have to understand the whole application. Next you have to understand one requirement will be impacted at what places. Okay, so business analyst will straight away give a requirement where in our entire application it should accept email ID @city only. That is one common requirement. So you should not think that this is for only screen number one or maybe for screen 10. Okay, so this is, as a developer you have to go for complete impacting that understanding. So finally, analysis is very important. So why I'm saying this now here is, as I told you, with PEGA we'll be developing internal applications. So in our course curriculum, as I said, we'll be covering three projects. So I'll show you the one project now, that is like insurance project. I'll show you one project which is like insurance. Suppose LIC is one insurance company in India, well-known insurance company in India. Now LIC wants some internal application, maybe like policy registration or whatever it is. So if I'm an LIC employee, I go to my office and I'll use some application, right? So that you are supposed to develop today. So you joined in one company and you are developing that. So one business analyst from here, they will be giving you certain requirements, right? Screen number one, how it should be, screen two, screen three, screen four. So this application, if it is developed with PEGA, how it would be, that I'll show you. So business analyst here, they will be giving you certain set of requirements just for analysis now. So as I told you, that set of requirements might be given in terms of one document, or maybe in terms of Zira IDs. whatever it is, it will be given in terms of small user stories, small user stories. So the document whatever you are seeing, so in some projects we call it like BRD document, SRS document, ALSD document, or sometimes like requirement document with different names. Overall it is like collection of all the requirements for so and so project. Getting my point? Following, right? Okay. So if this is such project, so you are supposed to first analyze what are all the requirements given. So let us discuss everything from beginning. So the requirement one here, it is talking about user portal. So user portal meaning, so the real user, who will be the real user here? LIC employees only, no? Who will be the real user? LIC employees. So the real user, if he is going to office at like morning 9 o'clock, he logs into his system, right? So whatever the default screen we get, that is called user portal. What is user portal? So this should be the user portal by default. Once an user portal is launched, okay, he doesn't know that it is developed on PEGA, but he will be just logging in, he'll be getting some website or some kind of screen. So once an user portal is launched, default screen shall be displayed in this way: welcome to life insurance organization, whatever it is, with some image, maybe with some text and these things. So you will be given direct screenshot, and that you are supposed to implement in PEGA. So let me show you that also. So this project is already developed here. So the requirement one is talking about displaying some user portal when a real user is logged in. So this is the first screen. Requirement one is like designing a screen with one image and maybe with some text here and with one image to the right side and a button. So this as a whole screen to be designed, generally in the traditional way, will take like minimum 4 hours time, but with PEGA hardly 20 minutes, hardly 20 minutes. And that too, if I'm trying to resize this window, if I'm trying to resize this window, can you see that image also being aligned according to that? Are you seeing anything like image breaking up or nothing, right? So this kind of design is called aligning to our screen size. This kind of design is called responsive web design. What is that? RWD is what we call responsive web design, meaning whatever the development you do today, that should be responsive in all the devices. Today I might be using like 14-inch laptop as a developer. If you are a tester or the real user, if it is used like 32-inch screen or maybe the bigger one, so according to that screen alignment should happen, right? So responsive web design is included in this one, and where we can see automatically screen adjustment. Okay, so requirement one is simply talking about launching one user portal. So what will be the estimate you provide for this generally? As I told you, traditionally it will take 4 hours. So in PEGA you can go for just 20 minutes. So 20 minutes meaning you and I as a developer know that we can do it in 20 minutes. But don't straight away give like 20 minutes or the dead according to that. So generally we go for 2 hours time generally, because the estimate what I provide today, if this is finalized, it is my headache to complete in 20 minutes, right? For some reason if it is like delayed, okay, or it is overlapped with something else, so we should have some certain grace period, right? So we generally provide like 2 hours time, maybe that double time if it is like short frame. If it is like 1 hour, give it like 2 hours. But don't give it like, if it is 50 hours, don't give it like 100 hours. So if it is like short frame, we can able to go for extra time also. So if you are giving everything as double or extra, client and it might be easily caught. So that is the reason for this short things may take minimum 2 hours, and maybe for bigger requirement take 16 hours or 32 hours, that depends. So requirement one is just about designing this user portal, and we are having one more sub requirement within this. So there is a button like here, and if you are clicking on this button, URL should be launched in another window. So if I click on this button, so some URL should be launched in another window. So on click of this, one window should be opened in Google Chrome or whatever the browser with some hard coded website. Am I correct? So this in PEGA takes hardly 2 minutes time, hardly 2 minutes time. So even for this you can go for just 30 minutes or 1 hour estimate for that. It will not take more than 5 minutes actually. In the traditional manner it may take some more time. Okay, so and requirement 1.2, so it is saying like this portal helps in accessing existing customers or to register a new customer. What does that mean? So if I'm an LIC employee, if you're the customer coming to me, so with this application I should be issuing a new policy sometimes. And maybe if a person coming after 3 days again, so you got one policy issued today, maybe after 2 days again if you're coming, I should be in a position to I should be in a position to access your own details, right? If you wanted to upgrade your policy plan or downgrade, whatever it is. So this portal helps in accessing existing customer details as well as supporting new customers also. So meaning if I'm trying to click here, you should be getting already a member option or register a new member option. So if we click on this, design will be according to that, and this is for retrieving the existing customer details. Getting my point? So this whole comes under requirement 1, within which sub requirements might be there. So for this whole screen number 1, we generally will not take like more than 1 hour, but make sure you give it like 2 to 3 hours on safer hand. Fine. And the next requirement here, it is talking about registering a new customer. Maybe if I'm clicking on this one, registering a new customer, what should be the screen? So this they will provide. On click of this, we are supposed to register a customer, right? Okay, fine. And whatever the screenshot business analyst is giving, okay, so whatever the screenshot we are getting, this we call it like mock-up. What is that? Mock-up. So for every screen, business analyst, they will give you one mock-up as well as one widget table. What is widget table? Suppose if I'm a business analyst, I'm giving you this screenshot, right? I'm giving you this whole document where you can see one screenshot. So as a developer, you should first understand that there should be one image, below one video, right part, something like first name, last name, all these things. So you will simply drag and drop and design a screen according to this, no doubt. And within which first name, okay, first name, it should be given with certain validations, right? First name should have minimum 4 characters or maximum 20 characters. It should not accept numbers. It should not accept special symbols. It should not. It should start only with uppercase. So there will be certain restrictions. So after you getting this mockup, you are supposed to get even kind of every field how it should be accepted. So first name should be having these many restrictions. Last name should have these many restrictions. Maybe mobile number or age. Age for an policy issuing, it should not be greater than 60. So if age is accepting like 200, is it correct? No, right? So design part will be done. Post that you have to understand every field should accept what type of data. So that we call it like widget table. Let me show you that. So here you will be given with some widget table. For the above mockup screenshot, below widget table will be there. First name should be mandatory and you should accept a minimum 4, maximum 16 characters. Last name how it should be, age how it should be. So each and every field will be given with certain kind of restrictions in this widget table. Suppose if it is not given anything specific, so in the mockup it is given with age to be accepted, but in the widget table if it is not provided with anything age like 16 to 20, whatever it is, what you will do there? You as a developer, what you will do? As a business analyst, I gave you this document where there is no information about age limit. What you will do? Hmm. So day one, as I told you, when you are analyzing, okay, so during time of development, you should not come up all with all these queries. So day one, you have to thoroughly analyze this document and you have to give estimate. In that scenario, you have to put like extra queries. So if I'm business analyst, I'll be giving you one query tracker. Okay, one query tracker. Developer one, whatever the queries he get, he has to mention it. And developer two, developer three. So you as a whole, development team as a whole, will be logging different queries, and business analyst, it's my duty is to solve that query. So I should be checking with my client what should be the time, age limit 18 to 60, or maybe the other query whatever you ask. So every query should be resolved, every query should be resolved. So once query is resolved, again it's my duty to update this document. Am I correct? It's my duty to update this document, because this document is kind of bible for development team as well as testing team. Testing team also should follow the same document and log the defects, right? So this document is kind of bible for us, where we will be following it on strict note. Okay, so if this is not updated, what is the proof? What is the proof? So business analyst, they have to update this with giving a new version. So document 1.1 version, the latest is document 1.2 version, so they will be giving with some version number for this document. So if we have downloaded maybe 10 days back, which is like version number 1, now today if it is like 1.2 with some modifications, if you are developing with the older versions, where you will not find latest changes, right? It is your mistake following the old one. Am I correct? So in my document there is nothing mentioned, meaning why are you taking the older version? So you have supposed to take the blame there, correct? Okay, so every time you should download the latest one, maybe from the SharePoint. Okay, and you have to follow that, understanding? So for each and every requirement you will be given with some mockup like this, along with that one widget table also. So let's try to check for the same here. If I'm trying to click on this register a new customer, so I can see some kind of design. So whatever the document, as per this document we are supposed to exactly implement it. And here we can see one image, maybe one video which is continuously playing on mute mode, and the other part of these things whatever as per given we have to design. And if you closely observe, okay, so if you closely observe, so first name how it should be, and this is like default text validations, everything should be done as per that, that's fine. And the same will be mentioned even here. So the main registration page should be showing like one image to the left top, and one video will be continuously played on its left below. And and now here they're talking about this particular form, whatever the form we are getting right side. So here they're particularly talking about, and this widget shall be displaying with blue color with small icon. You can see one small icon which should be expanded on load. We can collapse it if required also, and all the fields are mandatory, and mouse over on these below things to get these images. So there should be two fields like Aadhaar card number and PAN card number, and if I mouse over on this, we should be getting some information. Okay, so this we call like smart tooltip, smart tooltip. And here also there should be certain restrictions. First let me enter some test data. So I'm trying to enter some test data. Fine. And here if you're coming to Aadhaar card, so how the Aadhaar card format will be, so it will be clearly mentioned. So first number should not start with 1. So how will be the Aadhaar card number in India? So total how many digits generally? Total 12, right? 12. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so total it should be like 12 digits, where there should be space after every 4 digits. Am I correct? Now my restriction here is total it should be having 14 including spaces, and space should be after every 4 only, and everything should be like a number, and the first one should not start with 1 if this is the requirement. So the same thing is mentioned even in this document also, and you are supposed to implement that. Suppose if I give Aadhaar card number as this, 4 digit space, 4 digit space, 4 digits. So this is valid, right? So it will not throw any error. Maybe if I'm trying to remove the spaces, even though if it is valid, if I'm trying to remove the space, it's throwing an error, right? So maybe if I'm giving space, it should accept. And if the first character, if it is again starting with 1, it should still throw the error. So everything is validated at each and every place. Out of all these 14 digit, every place is being validated. If you use space after the second one or third one, it should not accept. So for this kind of validation, generally in other technologies, in the traditional way, Java or whatever it is, so we'll be taking around like minimum 2 hours. But in PEGA with just regex concept, I'll talk about that later. So it can be done in 5 minutes. So how complicated it might be. So this kind of validations can be done in less than 15-20 minutes. Okay, but still you can code for 1 hour time for this. Am I correct? Just to be on safer hand. So you will code for 1 hour. You can complete it in the less time also. And here it is talking about PAN card number. So PAN card number in India, how it will be? So total should be 10. First 5 should be alphabets. Next 4 should be numbers again. And the last one should be again alphabet. Okay. So if I'm trying to validate my PAN card number, A, B, C, D, E, 1, 2, 3, 4, something like this. This is correct format, right? This is correct format. So somewhere if I give it in the lowercase, it should throw the error. Even if it is correct one, somewhere if we give it like lowercase or somewhere if we give in another way, so every place it is being validated. So with this knowledge, so whatever the requirements you will do as per this project in our course, so if you get a requirement to validate US mobile number, so what will be the US mobile number format? Plus one, so bracket, 3 characters, so 3 characters, hyphen 3 characters, likewise, right? Maybe if you are supposed to validate Pakistan mobile number, plus 9 to space, maybe 10 digits. If you are supposed to validate Indian mobile number, plus 91 space and then 10 digits. And again, the first digit should start with 9 or 8 or 7 or 6 only, and remaining 9 characters can be as is, right? So if you can do these two requirements, whatever we are trying to making you to understand in this whole course, if you can do these two requirements, any such requirement can be easily done by you. Okay, so this as a whole front end design you can complete in terms of styles, in terms of alignments, in terms of validations, okay, in terms of error messages, whatever it is, or video or audio, whatever. So this whole screen can be generally designed maybe in half day time, meaning 4 hours time. This completely can be done in 4 hours time. At this point it might be like little slow for you. After 4 months of your course duration is what I'm saying. So this as a whole, you are supposed to complete it in 4 hours time. So you can code it for 2 days also in your real time. For a PEGA developer, for a PEGA development, you can straight away code it for 2 hours. In the regular design it will take 1 week time also. So you should understand what is the requirement and what are all the internal impacting areas and how much time it should be and what are all the other things involved. Okay, and apart from user interface, if you simply click on submit button, you are supposed to store details into table also, right? That also you have to understand, that also you have to cover under your estimates what you provide. Okay, fine. So finally, this whole requirement number one. Okay. So if you click on upload, so it has to show one pop-up asking for document collection. Okay, on click on of this, getting a pop-up and collecting documents, those being stored into database table. This is also completely included in PEGA. Okay, all these are like automated design. You don't require anywhere physical coding. So you have to understand how to drag and drop images or videos, and maybe how to maybe on clicking of this button, how to call this pop-up related area, pop-up related sections, these things. So you should understand how to implement these functionalities. You don't require how to write coding. Okay, so if I'm an interviewer, so if I'm asking you how to design this, you should say, so there is one automated, I'll use that, or in this scenario I'll use this automated. So you or I will be expecting how to implement these things in PEGA. It's not like how to write coding onto this PEGA. What for coding here? Not required, right? If I want coding, i'll I'll hire Java developer, not a PEGA developer. So you should understand how to use this design. Getting my point? And the last, it is saying like, I agree that information, so meaning there should be one checkbox. Can we see that? So there should be one checkbox. And on mouse overing of these terms and conditions, we have to get one more thing called smart tooltip. On mouse overing of this, we have to get one smart tooltip. Okay, so this is the final screen for screen number one. Understood? Clear, right?
Yes.
So every requirement you will be given with in terms of document, mockup, as well as one widget table. So this as a whole will be completely analyzed by developer as well as a tester. Suppose if you are a developer, so if you simply develop this, okay, without taking care of all the errors, is that complete? No, right? As a tester, I have to completely test this considering the same document. This document is common for everyone. So as a developer, you have to understand how many sub requirements. And if I'm a development manager, I have to divide these tasks for developer one, maybe this set of tasks for developer two, maybe developer three. We as a whole, we internally make our plan and we'll complete it. Make sure everything should be error free. So your motto is to every time, as a developer, your motto is to every time design defect free output, right? There should not be defects. If I'm a tester, my motto is to show more number of defects. Am I correct? My motto is to show more number of defects. So testing team will always fight for saying like this is a defect, you should accept. You should always defend saying like this is not a defect, what is the proof you have? Okay, so every time quarreling between developer and tester for terms of defect count happens. So if I'm a tester, so I can see something like first name should accept between 4 to 16, maybe implemented that. So if I'm testing like entering like if I'm testing with something like one character, first name as only A, it should throw the error, right? What error what error is it mentioned with anywhere error name? So here I can see some error for the last name. For first name, is it anywhere mentioned with error how the error should be? Is it mentioned anywhere? No. Or is it at least mentioned in this above widget table? So here I can see some error. But for first name, anywhere of your screens are you seeing that? No, right? No. So as a developer, you felt like so and so error message is meaningful, you implemented that. And if as a tester I'm not okay with that, who am I to decide that, or who are you to decide that? So you implemented one message which you felt as good, and I have seen that which I'm not feeling as good. So if I straight away log a defect, will you accept that? I can log a defect because there is no proof that this should be the error message. Developer has implemented one error message which is not mentioned in this document. So I'm logging a defect for this. If I do that, will you accept? No. Why don't you accept? Why do you have any proof for supporting this? No, right? No. So if anything quarreling between tester and developer, so even I don't have any proof, neither you. Okay, so if that is the scenario, we both go for business analyst. So triage call is what we say. So defect has to be triaged. So business analyst will decide. So whatever the development team has done, this is okay. Or development team done is not that fine. So change the message, whatever it is. So business analyst will finalize this as a defect or not by updating this document again. So this we call it like observation. I should not call it a defect. So, but if development team motto is simply to increase the defects, and testing team, testing team motto is to increase the defects. Development team motto is to reduce the defect count. So, what will happen with this defect count? I'll talk in the next class. I'll talk it in the next class. So, for now, we are understanding every screen should be designed as per mockup as well as considering widget table. Am I correct? So this is what all happening in screen number 1 as part of customer registration. And here next requirement is so after filling all the details, the next screen should be like educational. So screen number 2 is talking about collecting educational data. Let's simply submit and go to the next screen. So screen number 2, what is it talking about? Educational data. Again, same. You'll be getting one mock-up. It's related widget, right? So I can see like widget shall be expanded by default. So we can actually expand it, collapse it just to reserve the space. So it should be expanded by default, and below 3 tabs should be visible. Okay, and sub requirement within this is they're talking about 10th standard design. So they're talking about 10th standard design. So here I can see different tabs. Am I correct? So this we call it like tabbed layout design. Okay, so clubbing multiple design into one thing, showing like in terms of tabs. So just imagine how short and better design it would be. Okay, all the clients are looking for this kind of latest designs only not today. So here in 10th standard, how the design should be. So it shall be displayed with one drop down with below two values. So one drop down with below two values, that is state or central. If I'm selecting state, so what fields you have to display? If I'm selecting central, what we have to display? Or if I'm selecting this, it should be kept hidden everything. So each and every requirement will be clearly given in this mockup along with its widget table. So let's try to work on it. Maybe if I'm trying to go for state, so what is the school name? And it's asking for what is the date of pass. I'm giving some dummy values for now. And percentage or CGPA, whatever it is, you have to select it and you have to enter value. This is nothing but one radio button. Okay, you can select only one. Segmented radio button is what we call. Okay, so the earlier one, I mean, like you'll see with circles, right? Radio buttons mean that is standard view. This is segmented view. Okay, so maybe if I'm entering percentage something as 70, and here it is like full time. Maybe if I'm trying to go for central, so it's related design, and maybe full time, whatever it is. Okay, so this whole comes under 10th standard tab. And if you go for 12th standard, similar design. So college name, with date of pass. So specialization, I'm giving like maths, something specialization. And again in the graduation, so it will ask you what is the college name. So here you can see something like autocomplete. What is autocomplete? Anyone knows that? What is autocomplete? So autocomplete meaning after you start typing something, some values will be prompted out, just like our Google search. Just like our Google search, it's an autocomplete. Okay, so you should understand difference between a drop down and an autocomplete. Getting my point? So this is one text box, am I correct? Where you can just go for typing, meaning only editing is possible. And maybe this has one what? This is one drop down where you are supposed to select. No typing is allowed in this case. Am I correct? You cannot type anything. So you can select gender as male or female. There is nothing to type. So here you have to type your name. There is nothing to select. Clear? So combining these two, we are getting one new control called autocomplete. So autocomplete meaning consider Google search where you can type as well as you can select from the existing list, right? So this is called autocomplete. Okay, this is like latest feature. Okay, and consider one more scenario. So if I have to select multiple options, if I have to select multiple options, so if there is one option asking you for graduation, there should be one checkbox for BTech, maybe one checkbox for MTech, and maybe one checkbox for 10th standard. So if this is the option for you, maybe in your case all three can be possible, right? Maybe in my case only this alone possible. In another person case only two can be possible. So this is like multi-select, am I correct? Multiple values can be selected, am I correct? So for multi-select we go for checkboxes. But latest feature is like multi-select control is what we got. I'll show you this also now. Okay, so you should understand what is autocomplete, what is multi-select. So here in autocomplete, I have to I'm supposed to select one college name. Okay, so let me start typing with something. If I start typing, I can see uh, all its containing values with some highlighting part also, no, with some highlighting part. So you select the respective one, and the value will be selected. So this list, from where are we getting this list? There should be some reference, right? There might be 100 colleges or 200 colleges somewhere in the background, no? Here I'm trying to get like filtered out. Okay, so business analyst, they will be giving you one Excel sheet. All these college names should be displayed. They'll be giving you one Excel sheet. So you as a developer, what you have to do is that Excel sheet data should be imported to our database. So you are supposed to create one database table, and the database table should be having all this Excel sheet data copied there. And from our database table, we are supposed to run one SQL query, and it has to be filtered and shown, right? Correct. So this is like complicated generally, but in PEGA it will not take more than 1 hour time for you. It will not take more than 1 hour. Maybe like if you're strong or practiced well, it will not take more than 20 minutes also. So for this alone you can take like 2 hours time. For this alone, for autocomplete, generally you can code for 2 hours, but it will not take more than 15-20 minutes. Okay, where you don't require any kind of physical SQL queries or any Java coding in this case. Getting my point? So we are selecting something about college name from the list, that is autocomplete. And the next one, here it is asking for specialization. Specialization meaning within this university, I can be specialized in maths or maybe physics or multiple possible, right? So for multiple possibility, what is the thing we understood? What we have, what we call that? Multi-select. Multi-select, where you can select more than one specialization. Understanding? So where if we click on down arrow, all the possible things, again you'll get it like a list. I can see maybe 10 values. Again same thing. Business one list will give you an Excel sheet that has to be pushed into our second table, another table. So that list will be prompted. And if I'm selecting something like banking, okay, and I can select for one more, right? In the next thing, it will be showing again same list removing banking. Can you see that? And if I'm selecting something like finance, again in the next list finance will be removed. And if I'm selecting something like tourism, so likewise you can go for multiple options selected. Every time it will be removing that from the list and it will show. And another important advantage here is you can still type your hard coded values also, which is not possible with checkboxes. Correct. So if you want to implement this with checkbox, so you should be having one more thing like other at the last, other at the last, and below in some text area you have to type your comments or whatever it is. So just imagine how advanced these controls are these days. So yesterday I told you PEGA, in terms of front end design, it is using latest HTML5 design. All these are latest things, latest HTML5 control design. Okay, so maybe the date of pass, and here you can enter either percentage or CGPA. Whatever you select, its related text box only should be enabled. So here I selected percentage. Can you see this one enabled? This is grayed out, right? So I can enter something like 80 percentage. Maybe if I'm trying to go for CGPA, this will be removed, this will be disabled. Okay, you are supposed to enter accordingly. And here I'm entering something like full time. Okay, and again it is asking you one question, that is, are you a postgraduate or not? Are you a postgraduate or not? So here it is asking you two questions, that is with yes or no. So if I'm selecting yes, okay, so it has to take me to next screen. There is nothing more to enter, right? And if you're selecting yes, just observe after graduation you'll get a new tab. Select this one, you'll get a new tab with what name? Postgraduate. So this should be visible only if we select yes here. Am I correct? So on selecting this, again it's related values. So each and everything is clearly mentioned in this document. So where you'll see like Now post graduation, when it has to be visible. Okay, so whenever you select this as is, so this should be visible. Each and everything will be clearly mentioned in this document. Okay, fine. And here again same autocomplete. So if you maybe whatever the graduation college you studied, same it is getting prompted. If required, you can change it also. And again multi select, I might be specialized in banking now, maybe something like hospitality. And again date of pass, so percentage, full time, whatever it is. So screen number 2 is completely about educational details, where you are supposed to understand again about front end design. So screen number 1, we collected details as like in standard form, normal form, and here completely in terms of tabbed form. Getting my point? Tabbed design form. So again you have to take care of autocomplete, multi selects, and maybe like enabling, disabling sometimes, visible and hiding sometimes. Okay, and how to get the data from database tables. And after you entering all these details, if you click on submit, how it has to be posted into our database tables, everything we have to take care. So by just showing you or by just seeing the screenshot, don't think like this is meant for only front end. You have to understand even back end part also. Okay, so screen number 1, directly you'll get a requirement saying like after you collecting customer email ID. So an email has to be triggered saying like thank you for registration. Okay, thank you for registration. So back end requirements is also what you have to analyze on day one itself. Okay, so likewise, we are having like multiple screens where I wanted to show you reporting part and other things also. Okay, so due to some time constraints, I'll stop for today. Okay, and if you want me to show the whole project, I'll show it in the next class. If not, we'll continue with other things. So whatever it is, these kind of projects will be whatever the projects I'm showing now. So this project is kind of insurance. Am I correct? Insurance. And the next one generally will be like healthcare. And these two projects is what you are supposed to do. So uh, I'll not design this in the class. These two projects you are supposed to do. And the next and very very important thing is like banking is what I'll take care. So I'll create project one. So same day you have to create these two projects. If I'm trying to design screen number one, you are supposed to design screen number one in these two projects. So banking project is completely what I'll take care for 4 months. This alone will take 4 months time. So parallelly you are supposed to work with me with these two projects. Day one, whatever happened here, suppose if I'm showing you how to drag and drop an image, or if I'm showing you how to do certain validation, so same thing you are supposed to implement in these two projects also. Getting my point? Okay, so the requirements whatever, the few requirements whatever I showed you in this insurance. So consider if it is given with 100 requirements here, 100 different requirements, and these requirements will never match into this project. You'll be given with 100 different requirements, and these things will not match here. So you'll be given everywhere like different set of requirements. So just to make you understand every corner of PEGA development. Okay, so whatever the things you develop here, those will not be repeated. So separate different design. And apart from all these three, okay, you will be given around like 150 extra assignments also. So which will be again still different. Okay, which will be still more different. So if we can strictly follow this whole curriculum for next 4 months, no doubt whatever your requirement might be in your real time. So you might be joining in Scratch project or front end project or database project, whatever it is. Consider in my PEGA project, there will be more work related to database. Okay, so there might be little concentration on front end designs, right? Whatever it is. So in any kind of PEGA project, you should survive even if you go like a fake candidate. That is what the course is designed. Okay, so you should be going for complete dedication and commitment for next 4 months. So then only you'll be getting best result out of this course. This is what I'm saying. Getting my point? Okay, so we'll continue again on Monday. Okay, so tomorrow and day after it will not be there. So we'll continue again on Monday. And by this time, whoever has decided, so we gave it like 3 demo classes, right? By this time, whoever has decided, you can just message me saying like, I'm looking forward for continuing. Or you can just, if you are feeling like you want some extra time to decide, or if you feel like, so not this batch or the next batch, whatever, it's up to you. So if you feel that you're okay, you can just message me. Based on that, you can continue. Okay. And every one of you, please message me for recording. So whoever has joined from past 2 days, that's fine. So whoever has joined new today, so you have to message me so that you'll get past 3 recordings. Clear, right, everyone? Any doubts, anyone? Will be taken on Monday. Any doubts, anyone? And tomorrow class will not be there, so you people generally can come for practice, not specifically tomorrow. So on Saturdays, generally you people come for practice to our institute, and you can go for any kind of doubt sessions or maybe kind of mock interviews, whatever it is. Saturday institute will be open. Clear, right, everyone? Any doubts, anyone? Clear, Abhendra? Okay. Thank you.